The laboratory was silent, except for the sound of machines breathing. Tubes filled with glowing blue liquid lined the walls. Inside them floated half-formed human bodies, their faces frozen in pain. Cables ran from the ceiling into their skulls. Some twitched, some screamed without sound. At the center of the room stood Nathaniel Essex. He was no longer fully human. His skin was pale like porcelain. His eyes glowed faint red. His long black cape touched the floor like living shadow. The diamond symbol on his forehead pulsed softly. He looked at his creations with pride. "Evolution," he whispered, "is not kind, so I must be." Years ago, Nathaniel Essex had been a respected genetic scientist. Brilliant, cold, obsessed. He believed mutants were the next step of humanity. But humanity feared them, so they destroyed his career. They destroyed his reputation. They destroyed his funding. They destroyed his life. And in return, he destroyed his soul. A voice echoed in his mind, the voice of Apocalypse, the ancient mutant who had transformed him. Perfection is born through pain. Essex smiled. Now the world would learn his new name, Mr. Sinister, the world above. New York City was changing. Mutants were slowly being accepted. Slowly. The X-Men were symbols of hope. Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Wolverine. Heroes who protected both humans and mutants. But they did not know a new nightmare was waking. Deep underground, Mr. Sinister watched them through holographic screens. He studied their DNA, their weaknesses, their emotions. "They think they protect the future," Sinister said calmly. "They are the future that I will control." A broken experiment. In one of Sinister's chambers, a young mutant boy screamed as his powers exploded uncontrollably. Energy ripped through the walls. The boy collapsed, crying. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," he whispered. Sinister knelt in front of him. His voice was gentle. "Of course you didn't. You are imperfect. That is not your fault." The boy looked up with hope. "Can you fix me?" Sinister smiled. "Yes," he said softly. "But first, I must improve you." The machines activated. The boy screamed. Sinister watched without emotion. The X-Men feel it. At the Xavier Institute, Jean Grey suddenly dropped her book. She felt a wave of suffering in her mind. "So much pain," she whispered. Professor Xavier closed his eyes. "I feel it too," he said. "A presence. A mind. Powerful. Twisted." Wolverine growled. "Then let's go cut it out." Cyclops looked serious. "This is different. This feels personal." Storm stepped forward. "Something is hunting mutants." They did not know yet. They were being hunted for parts. Sinister's true plan. Sinister walked into his main chamber. At the center stood a massive DNA structure shaped like a human. Inside it glowed thousands of genetic codes. "This," Sinister said, spreading his arms, "is the future of my species." He planned to create the perfect mutant, a being stronger than Magneto, smarter than Xavier, more powerful than Phoenix, a god. But to do that, he needed X-Men DNA. First blood. A mutant refuge was attacked at night. People screamed. Buildings burned. A tall figure moved through the smoke like a demon. Sinister. He did not fight like a warrior. He fought like a surgeon. Precise. Efficient. Terrifying. He defeated every mutant without killing them. He only took samples. Blood. Hair. Skin. Tears. When the X-Men arrived, he was already gone. Only a symbol remained burned into the wall. A red diamond. Jean whispered in fear. Mr. Sinister, confrontation. Days later, Sinister allowed himself to be seen. He stood on top of a skyscraper as the X-Men surrounded him. Cyclops aimed his optic blast. Step away from the edge. Sinister laughed softly. You still think this is about control? He said. This is about survival. Jean tried to read his mind. She screamed. His mind was a labyrinth of suffering, obsession, and genius. You're broken, she said. Sinister looked at her. So are you, he replied gently. But unlike you, I accepted it. He disappeared in red mist, leaving the team shaken. Sinister alone, back in his lab. Sinister removed his gloves. He looked at his reflection. Once he had loved. Once he had believed in humanity. Now, he believed only in evolution. He whispered to the mirror, I will save our species, even if I must become the villain of history. A tear almost formed, but it never fell. The past never truly leaves. It waits. And for Nathaniel Essex, the past was a grave that still breathed. The Man Before the Monster. London, 1873. Nathaniel Essex stood in a candlelit study, surrounded by books on biology, mutation, and human evolution. His hair was shorter than. His eyes were human. His heart still believed in people. His wife, Rebecca Essex, sat beside the fireplace holding their newborn son. You work too much, she said gently. Nathaniel smiled. One day, my work will save humanity. Rebecca touched his face. Just don't lose yourself trying to save the world. He promised her he never would.
Really think you could win?
He lied without knowing
Your
it.
defeat was inevitable.
Betrayal. Nathaniel presented his mutation research to the scientific council. They laughed. They called him insane. They destroyed his funding. They burned his notes. They labeled him a monster. Outside the building, protesters screamed, mutants are demons. Evolution is evil. Nathaniel watched his life collapse. That night, Rebecca was killed in a riot meant for him. Their child died in his arms. Something inside Nathaniel broke. Not loudly, quietly, forever. Apocalypse. In the desert, a shadow approached him, a voice older than civilization. You suffer because you are weak, Apocalypse said. You suffer because you are human. Apocalypse offered him power, immortality, freedom from loss, freedom from pain. Nathaniel accepted, and Nathaniel Essex died. Mr. Sinister was born. Present day. Sinister opened his eyes in his laboratory. He rarely dreamed. But when he did, it hurt. He touched the diamond on his forehead. Emotion is a disease, he whispered. Yet the dreams continued. Captured, the X-Men were ambushed in an abandoned subway tunnel. Sinister's traps activated perfectly. Wolverine fought. Storm blasted. Cyclops fired. Jean screamed. But Sinister anticipated every move. Finally, he captured Cyclops. Not with chains, with understanding. Scott woke up inside a glass chamber. Sinister stood before him calmly. You lead them, Sinister said, but you don't understand them. Scott growled. You're insane. Sinister tilted his head. No, I am honest. He showed Scott holograms of mutant children suffering. You protect symptoms, Sinister said. "I cure the disease." Scott looked away. "You torture them." Sinister's voice lowered. "I improve them." Jean feels the truth. Jean Grey felt Scott's pain across the city. She collapsed. She saw Sinister's memories. His wife. His child. His loneliness. She cried. "He wasn't always evil," she whispered. Xavier closed his eyes. Sometimes the most dangerous villains are the ones who were once heroes. A child named Lucas. In Sinister's facility, a mutant boy named Lucas sat alone. He could control light, but he feared it. Sinister watched him quietly. Lucas asked, "Are you going to hurt me too?" Sinister hesitated, just for a second. "No," he said. Lucas whispered, "Then why do you look so sad?" Sinister turned away. "I don't feel sadness." Lucas replied softly, "You just don't let it win." Those words stayed with Sinister. Escape. The X-Men attacked Sinister space. Explosions. Fire. Chaos. Jean reached Scott. They fought side by side. Lucas escaped during the